Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Lora Boome, and I work at Northwest Indian College in the Cooperative Extension Department. I am the Traditional Plants and Food Coordinator. I actually just started last month. I worked in this job previously, but I had my last son, and so I was able to stay home and be a mom for the last 4 years. So this is the first time I've had a job in quite a while. So, like I said, my name is Lora Boome. I'm an Upper Skagit tribal member. I am also a descendant of the Lemhi and Nooksack tribe. My parents are Ruth Solomon and Raymond Boome Jr., and my grandparents are Ruth Solomon and the late Dewey Solomon, and Francis Williams and Raymond Boome Sr. I graduated from Northwest Indian College in 2008 with my AAS degree, my direct general transfer degree. And in 2011, I graduated with my Bachelor's of Science degree and also my certificate in Native Studies. And in 2015, I graduated from Grand Canyon University with my Master's of Science in Leadership. And I also just wanted to mention that I'm actually the first student that has gone through the whole tribal school system on this reservation. And so that was one of the great accomplishments. And so I was able to obtain all my education through the tribal schooling systems. I started working with plants about 12 years ago. And it was something that was really important to me because it brought my family together. My late grandfather, Dewey Solomon, was the backbone of our family. And so after he passed away in the year 2000, our family just kind of fell apart. And when I was using plants, my family started to get interested, and they started sharing stories with me about my late grandparents, and then also my late uncles and aunties I never met that used plants as medicine. And it was something that was really important, and we actually got together every month at my mom's house for about a good 3 or 4 years. And we went gathering, we went to the islands, we shared a bunch of stories. And it was something that was really important to me and my family because it brought us together, and it was really healing in a sense because we all split apart. And this is my daughter Isabella, and she's my middle child. And my kids are actually interested in gathering plants too. They just started to become more interested because they're a little older now. And so when we go for walks, they actually spot medicine. And so my son's favorite plant right now is plantain because that's one of the plants that he can identify. And so I'm so glad it's springtime, so now we can start going to the mountains, and I finally got a truck so I can drive myself to the mountains and gather my plants. With all the plants and the medicines that I make, I gather my own plants. It's very important to me that I gather my own plants because, in a sense, I don't want to use someone else's plant medicine because I don't know what's inside their heart when they're gathering. And so when I make my medicine, I don't want to give it away, especially if I'm sad or something happens, because I believe whatever's inside your heart goes inside the medicine that you make, and you're giving this to people in hopes to help them. So that's something that's really important to me. And one of the plants that I'm going to be talking about is Devil's Club. So I have Devil's Club up here. Don't touch it, sweetie. It's really spiny. I don't know if anybody has had a chance to be introduced to Devil's Club, but it's really spiny. I also cleaned one, this one that's cleaned, and this one you can use it for drumsticks. And so some people use it for drumsticks. Right here, I have the shavings right here. I'm going to infuse it in olive oil, and I'm going to make this oil right here, which I will make into a salve. And I have a couple of samples of my salves right here that I make. So Devil's Club became an important plant in our family, I want to say maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. So it's an important medicinal plant to the indigenous people within the coastal Salish tribes. We use it for a lot of things. So I'm just going to mention just a couple of things that we use Devil's Club for. So it's a common deciduous plant, and it can grow up to 20 feet tall. And so it's a really tall plant, and I actually just went to go gather, me and my kids went to go gather last week, and so I got about 10 stalks. And so obviously when you gather your plants, you don't want to over-harvest. You only use what you're going to use. And so when you're done with that, then you can go back up there and gather some more. So I'll be going up there in a couple more weeks. But it's a large shrub, and it grows in moist forest habitats, and it's native to the Pacific Northwest, the British Columbia, and it's not a pleasant experience if you ever run into Devil's Club, and I've had my chance, so I have run into it before, and it's not very fun, but obviously I use the salve to help with the irritation because it is really pokey and you have to have really strong gloves, and so I use cowhide gloves. Devil's Club takes several years to achieve its seed-bearing development. I really did not know what I was looking for when I went up to the mountains to go look for Devil's Club because I just only seen pictures of it. And so my grandmother told me that you'll know when it's Devil's Club because it will reveal itself to you. She said some of my uncles can't find it because it doesn't want to reveal itself to them, and so I go up and gather for them because we use actually Devil's Club, the stalks, we tie it around the boats because it's used as like kind of like a good luck charm, and so they wash the boats with the Devil's Club solution that they make, and they also hang it on their boats too in hopes that they have a good season, and so that's what one of the things they use it for too. The other things that we use it for is to make Devil's Club beads. Generally, the First Nations tribe use Devil's Club to make beads, and so I'm a descendant from the Lachamine and the First Nations, and my grandmother and my uncle have been making Devil's Club beads for the past couple of years, and I just actually learned how this year, and it's really fun to do, and we're going to be doing a couple of more classes throughout the summer around Northwest Indian College sites and around here. So Devil's Club is good to gather in the early spring. You want to gather the Devil's Club, but you want to make sure that you're not gathering it when it's starting to go dormant. And so the plant starts to go dormant in early October, and it starts to produce this toxin inside it where it will protect itself so it can go through the bad, harsh winters. And so my teachings is I don't gather during the month of Scorpio. And for other people, that's the only month that they gather it from. So it's all obviously about your own culture and your own knowledge and your the teachings that you receive from your elders. So that's when you can gather it. So, but that's the only month that I don't gather my Devil's Club plant is in the month of Scorpio. So the medicine that I use inside the plants is called it's the inner bark. And so when I have fresh Devil's Club and I'm able to scrape the spines off, and when it's really fresh, the outer bark actually, it just peels off. It's like a peanut shell. And underneath it is this like really vibrant green bark, and that's what I use as my medicine, and I scrape it off. And one of the funny things that I've learned how to clean it off is I use a potato peeler, which I would have never thought to use. And so that's one of the new things. Obviously it's not traditional, but it's easier to do, and it really works. I never would have thought to use a potato peeler, but I use a potato peeler and it peels right off, and so that's one of the things I use. And I use that medicine to make salves, and the medicine inside it helps with pain relief. One of my late relatives actually used to go up to the mountains and gather Devil's Club and do the peelings like this, and she would lay lady ferns on the bottom of the tub and put this in her tub too to help heal her arthritis. She said it gave her strength. And so that's how powerful the medicine is. And she would do that not every day, but like every week. And so it would help with her arthritis pain, because that's what it's used for, is to help relieve the pain of arthritis. And gout is one of the things that it helps with. I actually make the medicine for my dad because he has really bad gout attacks. And So that's one of the things that you can use it for. And another thing that you can use it for is, I had done research, and I actually also talked to our Lummi elders and also the Upper Skagit elders, and it was actually, and the Lummi people used it as a gynecological aid. They used it after the women gave birth, and they would make like a poultice out of it, and it would help stop the excessive flow of milk after they had the baby. Upper Skagit, the women used it after they had the baby to help kind of like produce their menstrual flow. And so that's what the Lummis and the Upper Skagit people used it for. And I'm not sure if you ever had a chance to look at the Devil's Club, but I do have it up here, and I also have a glove if you want to use it. And I also have oil too, and some salve. And I was actually wanted to pass the oil around. And this oil is fresh. I actually just made that. And here's some of the salve too. And some of the medicines that I put in the salve is I put black cottonwood bud, pink rosebud, rose hip seed oil, Devil's Club, obviously, and black cottonwood bud, not essential oil, blue chamomile essential oil, carrot seed essential oil, and lavender essential oil. And so the salve that I made is it's called pain relief, and it helps with making your I don't know, I guess how my kids say it is their owies to feel better. It makes, and so it's one of the things that my family really likes, and I actually just got a chance to make it, and so I'll be making big batches of it again for my family, and we trade, we barter, and so it really does work. And like I said, I use everything fresh. I don't go and buy my medicines from the stores. Obviously I have to buy the containers and my essential oils, but that's all I purchase at the stores. And it's a really good salve, and you're more than welcome to try it and tell me what you think of it. It's something I just made actually a couple weeks ago. I just got back from travel. I was privileged enough to travel. I went to Niagara Falls, and I attended the Native Indian Wellness Institute over there, and so I had to make some my medicines before I left. But I guess that's all I have to share about the Devil's Club. And also, I'm inviting everybody over to the Cooperative Extension Department too after this lecture, so we can make salves. And so you'll be able to make your own salve, and you're able to take it home. And so this is a learning experience, and whoever wants to come over is more than welcome to come over and learn how to make a salve. Thank you.